I need to talk about this because it's so insane. You know how the Trump administration has been saying the reason why California is having water issues is because Governor Newsom won't release the big, beautiful water? The big, juicy, beautiful, big, beefy water? They're just wasting it. They're dumping it into the ocean. Okay? So Donald Trump claimed that he opened up the water in California and allowed billions of gallons to flow. And what he was referring to when he said that was the reopening of a waterway due to scheduled maintenance. This was a few days ago, okay? So then there was a wave of media from California, and they were like, no, Trump didn't do anything. There was a 3-day maintenance period, and it came back up after that. He's just like, none of this has to do with anything. He just said, like he said, he did it, he didn't do it, okay? Well, apparently, Donald Trump took that personally, and he came back and he actually did it. But rather than redirect water that had been pouring into the ocean, which is what he said he was trying to do, he opened up one of the reservoirs and dumped water into floodlands, wasting it. He just lowered the hold at a reservoir. As the wildfires continue in Southern California, President Donald Trump's administration released significant amounts of water from California's dams on Friday in a move that bypassed state authorities. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was directed by the Trump administration to dramatically increase the flow of water, as federal data confirmed that by the end of Friday, increased release from Terminus Ban at Lake Coe and Schaefer Dam at Lake Success would total approximately 1.6 billion gallons of water. The sudden water release has since stunned local officials who scrambled to prevent potential flooding as state... You need to understand what to do. He literally ordered them unilaterally to just open up the floodgates on dams to dump water in the reservoirs. So we have less for summer. Like, this kills people. Do we think it's retaliation? I think this is retaliation. I think this is Donald Trump saying, don't talk back to me. I can do literally anything that I want. I have infinite power. I'll waste all your water, and then when the fires hit in the summer, I'll blame you for not having water. No one benefits from this. It's just spite. It's not even like a capital interest thing. Most of this water was going to agriculture. The sudden water release has since stunned local officials who scramble to prevent potential flooding, as state and federal water managers typically coordinate releases carefully, ensuring that enough water is retained for future agriculture use while preventing flood risks. However, the Trump administration's order bypassed this process, creating a chaotic response among local officials. The unprecedented release, which sent water rushing into the Central Valley, had no impact on the recent LA wildfires, because they're hundreds of miles away, despite Trump's claims, who took to his Truth Social account to tout the release of water. Photo of beautiful water flow I just opened in California, he posted, hailing the release as a long-fought victory that he suggested could have prevented the wildfires. I only wish they listened to me 6 years ago. There would have been no fire. According to the Times, water experts explained the water released is headed for low-lying agricultural land, not Southern California, and has no physical route to the wildfire-affected areas. I think you were right when you say the capital class has finally lost the plot. Yeah. Gene Pollack, the public affairs officer for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, said in a statement that the release of the water is consistent with the direction in the Executive Order on Emergency Measures to Provide Water Resources in California. Okay, so this guy is either bought by MAGA or knows he'll lose his job if he criticizes it. He's literally just saying, like, what the president did, we did what the president told us to. Is this not just eco-terrorism? It's eco-terrorism. I mean, the, like, deliberate irrationalism is reaching... This is the photo. He literally just ordered them to open the floodgates and waste 1.6 billion gallons of water that California would have used for agriculture in the summer. That's what they do. That's what the point of these are. Why did he waste the water? What was the actual optics there? This is what I mean by living in like a post-truth world. This is what I think of when people tell me that I should do debates again. Debate what? What possible conversation could I have with a person who would defend this? So he's actually... Well, I think that the only way in which Trump has any leeway in this administration is when he's being spiteful. His spite seems to be the only part of him that is still operating independently, you know, like of his own volition. Will this make the eggs cheaper? Maybe. Today, 1.6 billion gallons, and in 3 days, it'll be 5.2 billion gallons. Oh, he's still releasing more. That's nice. Local officials say they narrowly prevented him from possibly flooding farms. You should have just let him do it. Who f***ing cares, man? Local officials had to talk the Army Corps of Engineers down after it abruptly alerted them Thursday afternoon it was about to increase flows from 2 reservoirs to maximum capacity. Why? He said the Corps gave him 1 hour notice on Thursday. Hey, y'all, about to send 1.6 billion gallons of water. So we dumped the reservoirs. Good night, y'all. The incident is the latest chapter in an ongoing feud between Trump and state authorities. Yeah, I think that's the right way to put it, calling it a feud, you know? Like, that's a lot better than pretending this isn't spite-driven. Hernandez said the Army Corps' Thursday plan would have released far more water than needed. He said releasing the water at the capacity the Corps would have planned to would have flooded both the Kauai and Tule rivers where the Corps' reservoirs are located. You see, this is a more effective way of preventing bird flu from spreading. That's true. This is just radical agricultural reform. This is agricultural revolutionary thinking. No one thinks of the poor shareholders. This isn't even good for the shareholders, man. Something really bad could happen because of their nonsensical approach, said a former official who was granted anonymity because of the issue's political sensitivity, aka you don't want to be murked by the Trump administration. Floods are real. This isn't playing around with a software company. I wonder what the capacity of these lakes are. Like what percentage of their water was used. 12,000 acre feet. Well, that's f***ing great, but that's not in gallons. That's a lot and then some. Yerp. The LA Times, which is extremely bought, framing it as this, the wasting of so much water. Acting on Trump's order, federal officials opened up 2 California dams. Not, I don't know, Trump orders U.S. military to waste water, nearly floods the valley. 1 acre foot is equivalent to 325,000 gallons. So 1.6 billion gallons wasted would be... move that 1 over to the million, then 4 more times. Wow, that's actually a lot of water. But my head started to hurt, so I wasn't following it. QLA Times. Did Trump think the water would flow off the mountains and extinguish the fires? No, he just wanted to spite California officials. Oh yeah, I saw this. Trump's healthcare disruption could pay off if he pushes real reform, at LA Times, at Robert Kennedy Jr. I'm the author of this op-ed, which was given a misleading title and from which key lines were cut. Lines that made it clear that RFK Jr. is dangerously ignorant and has no business near HHS and is effectively a mass murderer in waiting. That's how bought the LA Times is. They're literally... You submit an op-ed, and they just like, okay, and they just edit it so you say the opposite of what you said. That's how bad it is. Yeah, Skynet, they want to release like 5 billion. How are y'all going to survive 4 years of this, Jesus? Oh, we don't know. Does this mean California can flush their toilets again? Dams are so pretty. I'm having a hard time understanding what the intention was. The intention here was literally just to spite California. It's, again, like, it's not as though Trump's going to be punished for this. Who cares? Like, you know how in the medieval era, you'd have noblemen and royalty who would, like, sack their own villages just to send a message? And you're like, well, that will reduce your grain harvest next season, don't you see? They don't care. Wow, no kidding about the LA Times being bought. The language in this article is extremely terse and deliberately neutral. Like, they're avoiding saying anything even remotely critical. 538 had Trump at negative approval, and as of last night, they changed it to +5. You mean favorability? Because that's not true. Favorability, he's still slightly unfavorable overall. Donald Trump approval polls. Well, that's certainly not the case here. This shows a very high level of disapproval. Like, look at all these recent polls. Disapprove, 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 disapprove. Look at the graph. Approve or disapprove of Donald Trump. It's consistent. It hasn't suddenly gone up to +5. That's all from 2021. Oh, did I not even... Oh, yeah, no kidding. Why would it show results from 2021? Oh, term first. There we go. Sorry. Approve, approve, approve. There we go. It's not a sudden change. Silly Vosh, yeah. Owner of LA Times on record saying he loves the appointments of Dr. Oz and RFK Jr. Well, of course he does, yeah. He's an oligarch. Americans are idiots. Well, you're going to see relatively high levels of approval hold consistently as long as all the media glazes him constantly. That being said, it's been like 1 week. So, you know, it was literally -1.1 the other day. The approval rating, I promise you that it wasn't. Look, you can literally see what it was the other day. Are you thinking of his favorability ratings? I thought I had favorability earlier in this. It was plus 1.1, not minus 1.1. This is the lowest starting approval rating of any president except for Trump #1. I mean, we'll see if that changes, but keep in mind, like with the media completely bought and owned by oligarchs who are all consolidating their power and interest in propaganda, it's very possible that Trump's approval rating stays high for a long time. I mean, everyone's just getting bad information to work off of. The average American, you know, what do they even know about what's going on? They don't know shit. On a scale of 1 to 10, how dead are we? You're annoying. Sorry. No, you're not.